Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's stream, going to be previewing the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants Week 7 matchup. It is a big one. The Commanders need to win this game. This is a game they should win, but that doesn't mean they will. We're going to preview that. A bunch of very important injury updates, especially on the Giants side, including, a Daniel Jones update. And Juan should be coming on a little bit later. We'll see when he comes on, but should be a good one as well. What's up, DeAndre? Appreciate you coming through. Ward Eds, and what's up, Terry? Appreciate all y'all for pulling up. But yeah, this is a huge game. I mean, we said the Bears was a must win. They didn't win that game, and it definitely is going to impact their season. I mean, if they won that game, they would be 4-2 right now. But they didn't. They got blown out. But this is a game that they should win. I mean, you're going up against the New York Giants. We're 1-5. Point differential is 100 points. And I don't think they're as bad as what their record is, but they still should absolutely beat this team. I think they haven't scored a touchdown, an offensive touchdown, in 3.5 games. That's embarrassing. And, watch us allow a first possession touchdown. That would be so, Washington. So, our defense, I could see that happening. I think we will win. I will get into my score prediction a little bit later on. But let's start off with an injury update. And what's up, CJ? What's up, Twan18? Yep, game day tomorrow. And injury update. Commanders, everyone's good to go besides the guys on IR. So Derek Forrest, Jeremy Reeves, Dax Milne, and Fedarian Mathis, those are the guys who aren't playing. Everyone else is good to go. And then the Giants. Matt Pert, offensive lineman, he's out. John Michael Schmitz, starting center, he's out. Andrew Thomas, they're all-pro tackle. He's out. They got Shane Lemieux. He's out for the year. Their other tackle, who is the backup for Andrew Thomas, he looks like he's out for the year. And then, Evan Neal is questionable. And then Adoree Jackson, their best or second best corner, he is questionable as well. And Daniel Jones, the Commanders, I mean, he owns us. He owns us. He is very likely out for tomorrow's game. That is big news for the Commanders because they struggle big time against us, or we struggle big time against Daniel Jones. We do. We've won, I think, one game against him. He's 5-1 against the Commanders. He will not be playing, or it's very likely he's not playing tomorrow. And Trod Taylor, fellow Hoke, he's going to be playing tomorrow, and he's not a bad backup at all. But we just, for some reason, it's either we struggle against Daniel Jones or he's just better against us, or it's a combination of both. But I'm not glad he's not playing, but I think we have a better chance against Trod Taylor, even though their offense didn't look terrible against the Bills. They just missed some big opportunities at the 1-yard line before the end of the half. And sorry about that, at the end of the game. So that's just something to consider there. Tyrod Taylor's, his deep ball is a little bit better than Daniel Jones. But hey, this Giants team, they are absolutely decimated with injuries. And this defensive line's got to dominate. What's good, Michael? Appreciate you coming through. What's up, Tim, Dennis, Todd, Elias? Appreciate all y'all for coming through. Hit that like button, subscribe as well. Trying to get to 12K soon, maybe 13K by the end of the year. Trying to get the subscribers up. But we're gonna get into some keys to victory, then do a score prediction, then maybe do some stat predictions. Talk about some players to watch for, bold predictions, and then at the end, I'll just answer any questions or stuff you guys want to talk about. What's good, Cody? Let's talk about keys to victory. Again, this is a team in the Giants that are decimated by injuries. You need to, you don't have to go out there, score 31 points, have 400 plus yards of offense. That would be great, but you don't got to do that. What you do probably have to do, though, is, not turn the ball over. If Sam Howell and this Commanders offense turns the ball over 4 or 5 times, that's when we'll lose the Giants. We could even turn it over once and not force any turnovers, and we'll still probably win. But you can't turn over the ball a ton, especially if you're not forcing turnovers. So that's the one thing. Play a clean and safe game. We don't have to have if you do a similar game plan as what you did in the Falcons game where Sam Howell's throwing 23 times. I don't think you want to have him only 23 times, but if you have him like 30, 32, I think that limits the amount of opportunities, not only for him to throw an interception or fumble, but also get hit. And I got my guy, Juan Gotti, talking sports, about to put him in. What's good, Juan? How you doing?
What's going on, Pedro? Appreciate you for having me on. I know it's been a little minute, but it's a good time to join because we have a good chance to be, back above 500 and make this division race a potential thing. So I appreciate you for having me on, man. How you doing?
Yeah, for sure, man. And appreciate you coming on. I was haven't had you on in a while just because I've been doing this on a new streaming thing. But I was like, I saw your video. You might be going away. I was like, okay, I got to get Juan on before he goes out. I don't know when that's happening. If you want to talk about that at the end of the stream, we can do that. But appreciate you pulling up. And of course, make sure you guys check out Juan Gotti, Talking Sports. I mean, everyone who's been on or who watches the channel already knows him because he's been on here a ton. Make sure you guys check him out. But Juan, yeah, like you said, absolutely huge game for the Commanders this week. They got to win. I mean, they got to win. This is the game when the season started, the schedule came out. This is the game I want to win the most. I absolutely hate the Giants. I know people hate the Cowboys more or the Eagles more. My least favorite team is the New York Giants because in person, their fans are fine. Like, I know a lot of Giants fans personally, if you guys are watching this, they're fine. But on Twitter, which I am on a lot, they're the most obnoxious fans ever. And it's just always been a beef between us the last few years. So I do not like the Giants. They don't like us either. And I really, really hope we get this win because they've dominated us ever since Daniel Jones has been their quarterback. He's 5-1-1 against us. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but he just plays well against us, or their team plays well against us, and it sucks. But so we're talking about keys to victory. One, I said can't turn the ball over because that's how the Giants are going to win this game. If you give them the ball, a few turnovers, and I low key I know the Giants defense isn't amazing, and they've gotten scored on a ton in some of these games, but I'm kind of scared for Sam Howell because Martindale, he does a lot of blitzes and he sends a lot of people. And I'm concerned that Hal's going to take a bunch of sacks, even though they have, 5 sacks on the year or 4 or 5 sacks on the year. I'm concerned he's going to give up 5+ sacks and Sam Howell's going to get hit a bunch. Even if he doesn't get sacked a ton, I think he's going to get hit. Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, like they've got some players up front. And I know the numbers aren't good for them, but I think that the defense is a little bit better than what we think. I think their offense is not good, but the defense is a little bit better. So I don't know, man. I think that is what I'm really concerned about with this offense. So, we got to get it out quick and we got to limit the amount of sacks. What's up, the traveling alien trip check? DeAndre says, Evan, I actually do have a feeling D-line might eat. We'll talk about that in a little bit. They have to. Let's see what's good. Tim. And yeah, Juan. So do you got any keys to victory?
First key to victory would, again, like you mentioned already, try to protect Sam Howell to the best of their ability. They're going to get at least 5 sacks tomorrow, man. It is what it is. I just hope at some point Sam Howell gets tired. This is what I feel. I feel like at some point he's going to get tired of getting hit. I mean, I remember early on in the season we tried to put it all on the offensive line. Each week we go by, we see that it's a mixture of both. It isn't just Sam Howell. It isn't just the offensive line. And I just think at some point he's going to finally realize, all right, look, I'm tired of getting hit. Because even when he doesn't get sacked, he's still getting hit on passes that he's completing. So at some point it's going to click onto his head that, hey, look, I can't keep taking these hits. I don't want to keep taking these hits. They hurt. So he's gonna eventually start getting rid of the ball fast. Even though I feel like they had showed a tweet that he has like one of the fastest releases as far as like getting the ball out of his hands. At some point it's gonna work itself out. I have no doubts about that. And obviously, Eric Bieniemy, the play caller, has to do a better job of that. Everything does not have to be deep, So my first biggest one would be to try your best to protect Sam Howell. Because like as you mentioned, they have a really good defensive line. Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari. Like they have some guys up front that can get after the quarterback. And we, as far in my opinion, has done really well in the interior. Like Sadiq Charles, you haven't heard his name all year. You haven't heard Sam Cosby's name all year, really. Only guy that you kind of hear is Nick Gates from time to time. But I have no problem with the interior. I have no problem with left tackle. Charles Leno has been well, and even Cornelius Lucas. My problem would probably be right tackle. Other than that, I think we'll be fine. But they're gonna get 5 sacks at least. If they don't get at least 5 sacks, then I will be surprised. I would be super surprised. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's my first game.
and that's sad, honestly. I would say I'll be happy if we give up, and usually you give up 3 sacks, it's not good because that's on pace to give up what 48. I mean, I guess 17 games, so 51 sacks. I think that my math's right on that one. 51 sacks on the year, which is not good. You don't want to be giving up 51. But 5 sacks, I don't even want to do the math on that. That is just way too many sacks a game, and that's kind of what it is. And you know what the sad part is, Juan? Every week, the last few weeks, they've been talking about, oh, this team has only had this amount of sacks. Like the Bears only had 2 sacks going into our game. They had 5 sacks against us. The Falcons only had 4 sacks in 4 games, or maybe they had 5 sacks in 5 games. They had 5 against us. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And we need to limit those. And a little bit of it is on the offensive line. I mean, a lot of it is on the offensive line and Sam Howell. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously, there's some times where it's like Brian Robinson or someone misses a block. I remember one in particular where Brian Robinson missed one. Sometimes the tight ends do, but the majority of it is on Sam Howell on the offensive line. A lot of the advanced metrics say like we're top 10 in the offensive line and pass blocking. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I don't think it's as bad as the stats show, which is dead last in terms of the sacks given up. Sam Howell does hold on to the ball way too long sometimes, and he does avoid some sacks. But, dude, you got to just realize, hey, avoiding a sack and going on to the next play at 2nd and 10 is much better than 2nd and 16, you getting a hit, maybe fumbling it. It just got to be better, man. It's really got to be better with Sam Howell. So we're going to go baby steps. If he gets sacked 3 times in this Giants game, I'll be happy, man, because I mean, every game it's been 5+, right? Besides the not the Falcons game, the Cardinals game. I don't know what the Cardinals game was. I'll look it up right now, but every game besides that, like, it's been 5+ or something like that. And that's just not good, guys. Like, your quarterback getting sacked that amount of times. So he got sacked 6 times in the Cardinals game. So yeah, it just cannot happen. I heard John Keim, he had a stat, and this is kind of crazy. It shows how much sacks hurt offenses, and especially ours. Sam Howell's been sacked on 26 different drives. On those drives, the Commanders have only scored 2 touchdowns. So those sacks really kill your drives. You cannot have it happen to you. So we just got to limit those sacks, and that's on Howell, that's on Bieniemy, that's on the offensive line as well. All 3 of them combined. Next key to victory. This defensive line has no excuses at all. They need to dominate. I feel like whenever the offensive line of the other team is decimated the last couple of years, and I feel like they're going to have a big game, they don't. There's no excuses. Not only is the Giants' offensive line when healthy bad, like their starting offensive line this year in the Cowboys game and the next game was really bad, and they lost their best player on their probably whole team or top 3 player on their team in Andrew Thomas, all pro tackle. They lost his backup. They lost their starting center. They lost Matt Pert. They lost Shane Lemieux. Like, their offensive line is in shambles. I mean, it was already in shambles when it was healthy, and now it's even more in shambles. So if you can't dominate that offensive line and get 4 or 5+ sacks, that's sad, honestly. Like, Chase Young, like, I love the pressures, but get a couple sacks this game, or I mean, if he's getting pressures and he's, forcing the quarterback to another defensive lineman, that defensive lineman's got to finish. And Casey Toole did a good job of that last week. So Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Montez Sweat, and Chase Young, like, we need a big game from them. We need 4+ sacks, a lot of pressures, and I would say at least 1 turnover forced by them, whether it's a force fumble or they hit the quarterback and he makes a bad throw and it's an interception. Like this defensive line has got to step up. I don't think they've been as good as they needed to be. Like even in the game last week against the Falcons, like I don't think they were getting enough pressure on Ritter. I mean, what they had the Commanders had 3 sacks. One of them was just Ritter running out of bounds. Other 2 are Casey. Like I think this defensive line needs to step up a little bit. And this is the perfect opportunity to do so against the really, really bad, Giants offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like the Washington Commanders have no excuse to dominate tomorrow. Last week they didn't get to Desmond Ritter, but the other problem was when they didn't finish. I.e., Chase Young, he got to him, but they cannot finish for whatever reason. But this week I'm expecting at least 5 sacks for us too, and our 5 sacks should be actually like easy because I mean they're missing half of their starting offensive line, so it's no excuse to not get to one. Tyrod Taylor or Daniel. At first, I was gonna say Daniel Jones was gonna play because that's what that he was limited, but it's a long shot now. So
I
I'm
think,
saying
yeah, they
Tyrod
said
Taylor.
it's going to be Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, so Tyrod Taylor, we have no excuse. I would prefer to honestly play Daniel Jones though, just because I want to beat him. But Tyrod Taylor, I think runs that offense better. But yeah, we have no excuse to not get after Tyrod Taylor and that offensive line. This is my thing, right? I feel like we're gonna have a good week when it comes to pressure. And then we're not gonna be excited because it's like this is what you should do. This is what we always do. We always beat up on bad offensive lines. And then when we played Jalen Hurts next week, we're probably going to be back to the same old thing where we don't really get much pressure. But yeah, I definitely agree. Another thing that I will say that I feel like the Washington Commanders need to do to be successful is can we please like have a full game on the offensive side of the ball? What do I mean by that when I say that? First half last week we were good. Second half was so dreadful. I don't know what it was. Like I don't know why we just totally went dead. Can we please have a good like defense had a 4-quarter game last week, okay? They're good. Like they're fine. They already had a 4-quarter game. I don't think any game, correct me if I'm wrong, no game this year has the offense had a 4-quarter game where they were on fire from start to finish. Now, obviously, I understand you're going to have 3 and outs. You're going to have times where you're not going to be able to convert third downs. You're not going to be able to continue with drives. I understand that. But I think we need to be on the gas from first quarter to fourth
Don't
quarter.
take the foot off the gas.
Right. This is a division game. This is the Giants team that is practically dead, but they're going to get up for us. I mean, I don't know how true the tweet is, and I know media they like to twist players' words, but apparently Deontay Banks said he doesn't know nobody on our offense. So they're coming motivated. They're coming borderline cocky.
I think that was a joke. I think it's
okay. Yeah, well, I just saw it on my Twitter timeline, and I don't know if it was real, but I just want to put that out there. But even if it's not real, they know that they can beat us. That's their motivation. You know what I'm saying? They know they can beat us. So they're going to be ready to rock and roll. And the longer you let them hang around, the shorter your chances of winning gets. You know what I'm saying? If you let and we know from being a bad team, when you let a bad team hang around, they eventually get confidence and try to win because you're letting them stay around. We cannot do that tomorrow versus the Giants, man, because if we do, we're going to be in trouble. And then we're going to be right back to how we were feeling before after the Bears game. That's the truth of the matter. You know what I'm saying? We had no reason to lose versus the Bears. But if you do it again, it's like, all right, I don't want to say the season's over, but it's like, how can you feel confident after you lost to two of the worst teams in the NFL? You feel me? So you have to go out there and have that killer mentality offense. And it starts with your play calling. It really does. And Eric Bieniemy, he needs to find a way. And not giving up on EB. Still firmly believe in EB. But if we're being totally honest, through the first 6 weeks, you can kind of tell this is his first year being an offensive coordinator. He kind of gives me Scott Turner vibes as sometimes, and I really was surprised because I mean we talked all last year about how Scott Turner lacks the ability to get the ball in the playmaker's hands, and we're like, okay, getting Eric Bieniemy here, we should not have that problem. Terry McLaurin still being underutilized. This is his 5th year, and we're still complaining about that. That is insane. Jahan Dotson, 1 catch. You're telling me you couldn't do nothing, design anything to get Jahan Dotson the ball last week? Only 1 target. Then De'Ami Brown. This is the only thing I'll say. Okay, I'll toss it back to you. I love Sam Howell. I think he's perfect. He can be the perfect quarterback. The only thing that I have a problem with Sam Howell, his deep accuracy is so bad. I don't know. Every time, I don't even know if we completed a necessary deep ball this year. Every time he throws it deep, he always overshoots him. You know what I'm saying? You know how many times we could have had touchdown? De'Ami Brown, couldn't De'Ami Brown have had 2 touchdowns in one game, or was it? I know he missed 1, and I think that was versus the Bears game. And I think last week he missed 1 too, but to De'Ami, his deep accuracy needs to be better. And he will literally be fine. So we need to find a way to get the ball in our hands of our playmakers. And I didn't even think we would be saying this now with Eric Bieniemy, but apparently we have to. So I'll toss it back to you, but that's all my little rant.
Yeah, I mean, his deep ball, like, I think in college was really good. And in last year in that Cowboys game, he had a deep ball to Terry. And I thought early on in the season it was good, like against the Broncos. He had a touchdown to Terry, like a 50-yard dime or 40-yard dime. Recently, it hasn't been great. I hope it does get better. I think it'll be fine. The one to De'Ami was a little bit over him. I think De'Ami could have caught it if, like, the Falcons receiver was holding Falcons cornerback was holding his hand a little bit, so he had a one-handed catch it. But if he could have got 2 hands on, I think he would have caught it. RSS Swimmer says, let's win by more than 1 score. I would love that, but honestly, this is the New York Giants. We've struggled against them. This is a divisional game. I don't care how it happens. Like, as long as we stay healthy, knock on wood, I just want to win at the end of the day. If it's 3-0, 2-0, like, am I going to be ecstatic? No, but I'm going to be happy with the win because this is a divisional game that, again, we've lost like so many of these games against these Giants the last few years. I just want to get a dub. I would love to blow them out. I really would. I just don't know if that's going to happen, but I hope it does. Gigi Mon says, who's got more Redskins gear, you or Juan? I don't know. Let's go through the jerseys.
Probably
you.
I'm
First jersey was, I don't think so. I think we're pretty, I don't know. I think you definitely got more current players. I got RG3. I got Kirk Cousins. That wasn't a choice, by the way. I just got gifted that. Kirk Cousins. I got Ryan Kerrigan, DJ Swearinger. Unfortunately, I got Chase, Terry, and then Sam Howell. Those are the jerseys I got. And then Clinton Portis, too.
Yeah, I mean, and to clear it up, he was saying unfortunately about the DJ Swearinger thing because he got cut, but not unfortunately about Chase Young. You definitely have way more jerseys than me. I mean, I only have Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, and Sean.
Don't you have a Crow one?
No. So I only have Sean Taylor, Chase Young, and Terry McLaurin. And the jerseys I want to get a Howell one. I just gave away a black Terry McLaurin. That joint is so sick in person, bro. I look-key want to get another one. That joint was look amazing. But the jerseys I want to get upcoming is a Curl one. I want to get a St. Juice one too. And I think obviously a Sam Howell one. I like 14 on Sam Howell, but something tells me he's going to end up changing his number. I don't know why I feel like he's going to do that.
I think he wore 7, I think, at UNC, so that's probably not going to be on the table because of Theismann, and then Haskins wore rest in peace.
I don't know why, but I feel like Sam will look good in 9. I don't know, like
9, maybe. I think at this point though, like he's already. I mean, maybe Jalen Hurts did, so we'll see, but. Let's see. Someone says, DeAndre says, wish I had Kerrigan jersey. Yeah, I like that one. And he's back on the coaching staff. I really wish he never went to the Eagles, man. That sucked. Rivera should have kept him, man. Let's see.
You definitely have way more gear than me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. The jerseys, though, the jersey selection I have isn't amazing. I mean, Swearinger, I was hype to get it, and then he got released like a day before Christmas Eve, and I opened it early and I took off the tag so I couldn't return the jersey. So like I just had a DJ Swearinger jersey, and he's not on the team.
He wants to come back too, bro. We should bring him back, bro. Like I know he can
maybe on the practice squad just for the vibes. But one guy that needs to step up. I said it for the first 2 games. I was like, this guy's going to go off. I said it for the Cardinals game. He had like 40 yards. I said it for the Broncos game. He had whatever, like 20 some yards. Jahan Dotson has been extremely underwhelming this year. I don't care what you say. There's just no like debate. He's been very underwhelming. I mean, let's look at his stats. He's on pace for like way fewer yards than he had last year, and he missed games last year and was a rookie. And everyone thought he's going to go crazy this year. I bought into the hype. He has 140 yards, 140 yards through 6 games. Let me repeat that 140 yards through 6 games. He is averaging 23 yards a game. Your first round pick from last year. And you can say he's not getting the targets. That's just not true. Last game he didn't get targets. But before that, like week 1, he got targeted 8 times. He got targeted double what Terry got. And then he got, he was getting a lot of targets in some games. He just wasn't doing a lot with it, whether it was, not great targets or he was dropping some. He dropped last week, would have been a touchdown. Bad drop, cannot do it. He had a bad drop in the Eagles game. And those are the only ones, but both of them were bad, crucial drops. You cannot do that, man. And it would make our offense look so much better if he actually caught that pass against the Falcons. But he's talented. Like, there's no doubt about it. He is super talented. Everyone thought he was going to go off this year. He hasn't. I think it's a combination of a few different things. Eric Bieniemy, what Juan was talking about with him, getting his playmakers involved. It seems like also their target, like their depth of target is very short. Like you look at Jahan, let me pull up his stats again, but he's averaging 8.2 yards a catch. 8.2 yards a catch. That is very low for a receiver. I mean, last year he averaged 12.8 yards a catch. So 4.5 yards a catch more last year than this year. And let me look up Terry McLaurin as well. I'm going to look up Terry's stats and see the comparison. He's averaging 11 yards a catch this year. He averaged 14 yards a catch last year. He's averaged 14 over his career. So the average depth of these targets is much lower. I would like to see them throw a couple more deep shots because Terry can moss these guys. Like, it's just like, F it, throw it to Terry. Like the Taylor Heineke mentality, man. Just throw it to Terry. He'll make the play most of the time. And if not, like if you get it near him, he's gonna knock it down. Like he can knock it down and force that incompletion. I say, throw up some passes at Terry. Like that Broncos game, he was covered by 3 guys and he caught it over 2 of the guys. Like that's a hard play, but Terry makes those. So I would like to see more targets for Terry. And then like some more slants for Terry, some more like yards after catch opportunities for him. And then Jahan as well. Just give him some deeper opportunities. I'm not giving up on Jahan, but this has been a very disappointing season. I don't want to say it's all on him because it's not, but it's been disappointing for sure. I really hope it gets better. At this point, the production is not going to be what we thought it was, but if he can have a rebound second half of the season where, let's say, second half of the year, he gets like 600 yards, 700 yards, we can be optimistic about next year. But Rivera said he's going to get targeted more. We'll see about that. But I'm predicting a big game for him. I think this game will be the biggest game of the year for Jahan. We'll talk about it later, stat predictions. But we'll get a couple more keys to victory. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I mean, get Terry and Jahan the ball, but also you don't need to drop back and throw 40 plus times against the Giants. Run the ball, you'll be fine. And I think Brian Robinson will have a decent day. Honestly, give some more carries to Chris Rodriguez. He looked good in that game. I mean, he had like 4 carries, 23 yards. He was out 2 games because of a sickness. I say keep giving him the ball, and slowly see, this guy could be a late round gem. And we really haven't seen enough from him, but what we've seen has been very encouraging. So I say give Chris Rodriguez 3-4 plus carries in the game and see what he does, maybe even more, and go from there. He could be a playmaker. He could be a weapon in this offense eventually. And then maybe you can graduate Gibson to a receiver. I still don't get why they don't use Gibson more as a receiver, because like we've seen it, right? We've seen it like in that Bears, I think it was the Bears game. He lined up as a receiver and he caught like a 30-yard reception. And in the Broncos game or one of those games, he had like a 40+ yard reception on a screenplay. Like, give him the ball more as a receiver instead of as a runner. That's what I would say. Jahan's learning a new playbook. Everyone will get better each week. I mean, yeah, he is learning a new playbook. So is Terry. So all these other guys, and they're producing, or some of these guys are producing. Terry still isn't producing to to the level you would want him to, but he's definitely outproducing Jahan, and Curtis is having a good year as well. Like, let's see what Terry's stats are. I mean, Terry, it's not amazing, but he's got 342 yards on the year. You would like it to be more, but I think he'll start to get more yards as well. But let's see, any other keys to victory? Special teams has got to be good. We had a good return by Crowder last week. Let's hopefully get some more opportunities this week. Kicking, special team, or kicking has been solid. Last game or two, and I mean, I guess the Bears game it wasn't, but yeah, special teams got to be good. You got any other keys to victory?
Honestly, the only reason why I want to say no is because it's like this is the same feeling I had to when we went into the Bears game, and they obviously didn't turn out that way. But I just feel like they're so beat up and they're so bad that it's just like we don't even really need to lay out a game plan. Like it's just like you should just know what to do. Like like I don't know if I know that's like a bad feeling to have because again, like look at what happened like versus the Bears, but like it's like come on, bro. Like they're bad. Like just please don't like make it like I don't know. That's how I feel. So no, like I don't really have any more keys to victory because it's just like you should just know like go ahead and just finish them off. If we beat them, bro, their season is literally cooked.
Yeah, and again, just recapping what our keys to victory were: defensive line, no excuses, have to dominate. Offensively, limit the turnovers, and got to protect Sam Howell. Can't be taking these hits because the most sacked quarterbacks in the league besides Sam Howell, Justin Fields and Daniel Jones. Guess what? Both those guys are hurt. Sam Howell's tough, but eventually those hits are going to start piling up. He's got to do a better job at avoiding those hits, and offensive line's got to be a little bit better as well, especially Andrew Wiley. I would love for him to get benched, but they're not going to do that. It is what it is. I'm trying to think, what are other keys to victory? Don't take your foot off the gas. Juan said that. I love that. We had 24 points last week going in, or with 12 minutes left in the third quarter. You end up scoring 24 points. That sucks, man. That absolutely sucks. Could have been an opportunity. Like, I'm not saying 24 points sucks, but when you have 24 basically at halftime, a few minutes after halftime, and you end up with 24 in the game, like you're playing not to lose. And I hate when coordinators do that. It's either offensive or defensive coordinators do that. They play not to lose. And you know what ends up happening on when you play not to lose, you end up almost losing. They didn't almost lose, but they were in an opportunity. They had a chance to lose that game if Desmond Ridder was awful because they had the ball at the end of the game, and if they would have scored and made a 2-point conversion, they would have tied it. And it's because Bieniemy didn't score at all in the second half after that touchdown, and he took his foot off the gas. They were running a ton, and you got to be more aggressive, man. You got to be more aggressive. They weren't, and defensive coordinators also do the same thing. It's like you're shutting down an offense the whole game. And then in the fourth quarter, you decide, okay, you know what? We're up by 2 scores. Let's play prevent. And then you know what? They march down the field. They start scoring. And then, you're in trouble. I hate when coordinators do that. And then I'm trying to think, special teams got to be good. And what was the last key to victory? I said get the ball to your playmakers. So let's go into score predictions. So I'll get yours first, and I still got to think about mine a little bit. And
yeah,
everyone in the chat, go ahead and drop your score predictions as well. And while you're at it, hit that like button, so up to both of us as well. Let's get to 50 likes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and say 28-18. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be, obviously a one possession game, and then Washington gets that one final late touchdown at the end to make the score a little bit more, I guess like pulling away. But it's gonna be a close game. It's a division game. I know they're 1-5, But we're not. We know what this is gonna be. As much as we would like a blowout, as much as we would like this team to show up and dominate all 4 quarters, we know that this is gonna be a hard fought, missed opportunities. Dreaded out game. So yeah, I'm gonna say 28-18, and I wouldn't even be surprised if the Giants are leading at some point in this game. That's how I feel, and that's just how we have, grown to come as fans of this team, always being let down. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, even if it's not pretty, which I'm not expecting it to be, Washington gets the victory, and at the end of the day, that's what's most important. 28-18 is my score prediction.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we lost this game. I'm gonna predict a win. Don't worry, guys. But it's just, I don't know, man. We don't beat the Giants in a lot of these games. We don't that we expect to win. We don't. We didn't do it against the Bears. I think so far I missed one prediction, and it was the Bears game. Every other game I've got right, so I'm hoping this continues. I'm going 20-13. Washington Commanders get the dub. I do not feel good about the offense against the Giants. I don't know, they could prove me wrong. It just the combination of our offensive line not being amazing, Sam Howell taking too many sacks, and then the Giants, their strength on their defense is their D-line, all pro Dexter Lawrence. They got Leonard Williams, who's solid. They got Kayvon Thibodeau, who really hurt us last year, and we'll be going up against Charles Leno, who we dominated. And then, also Wink Martindale, he sends a lot of pressure. And I don't know if Sam Howell is going to be able to take it well. I could see a bad game from Sam Howell. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. I still think it's going to be a dub, but just give my thoughts there. So 20-13 Washington Commanders. And let's talk real quick about Forbes, man. I mean, it's an interesting situation here because when are they going to play him, honestly? Like, he didn't play a single snap last week, and guess what? The defense looked good. They did give up 300-plus yards, but the defense had their best game of the season, besides maybe the Cardinals. And the Cardinals' offense is worse than the Falcons. So when are they going to bring him back? I don't know. Maybe they'll play him some. I feel like if you're going to play Forbes, you either play him 60+% of snaps, or you play him nothing. Like, there's no reason to play him 5, 6, 7 snaps. I don't think that really helps his confidence. And if you don't play him against the Giants, guess who you're playing the next week? Eagles. And guess what happened last time when we played the Eagles? A.J. Brown dominated Emmanuel Forbes. So if you don't play him the Giants week, you better not put him out there against A.J. Brown against the Eagles. It's been a rough go for Emmanuel Forbes. Eventually, you're going to have to put him back in. But it's a weird situation because Rivera really needs to win. And I don't think putting Forbes in right now gives you the best opportunity to win. It is what it is. He's been struggling, but Quan Martin played last week. I thought, in those snaps, he had some good plays. And if Cody Barton didn't have that roughing the passer, it would have been a forced fumble on the stat sheet for Quan Martin. So I'm excited to see if Quan Martin gets some more snaps this week, what he does. But yeah, man, Forbes has been disappointing. Everyone knows my thoughts on the pick when it happened. I still think he can bounce back, but rookie corners, they struggle early on. Like Trayvon Diggs didn't have a good rookie year. The next year, he had a solid year. So I want to hear your thoughts, Juan, on the situation. And what would you do? Would you play him in this Giants game, or would you when would you bring him back? Because it's a first-round pick. You can't really bench him for the whole year, or else I feel like his confidence is just it kind of puts you in a really bad spot.
Yeah, so what I would do with Forbes, I would slowly work him back into the rotation. I think this week is going to be a week where he actually is going to see the field, because although Kendall Fuller is going to play, he's still probably not 100%. He didn't practice really at all until the last week of practice. He's playing, but again, I don't think he's 100%. So with that being said, this is the time that Forbes is going to play. You also got other rookies that are having to step in, and young guys step in. Quan Martin, with the injury to Jeremy Reeves and stuff like that. You got a young guy like Tariq Castro-Fields on special teams. So it's a time for these young guys to have to step in and make some plays on special teams and on defense and the secondary. So I think tomorrow we're going to see Forbes. I don't think he's going to not get any action. If Kendall Fuller was healthy, then yeah, he's probably going to be another week of no Forbes. But for the simple fact that he is, Not 100%. At least I'm assuming he's not. We'll see more Forbes, and I think that's what you should do. I think you should not play him at all. Like, you feel me? Even if it is, I know you said if it's 7 snaps, don't play him, but even if it is 5, 7 snaps, he still needs to see the field. He's your first round pick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He needs to see the field in some type of capacity. Like, St. Juice is the best outside corner we have. I mean, you could make an argument for Kendall Fuller, and if you say
I would
he is,
say Fuller, honestly. I'll
wouldn't.
go with Fuller.
I wouldn't. I'm not mad at that because Fuller is amazing, and I almost want to re-sign him as a cornerback, and let him finish out his career here, and then maybe transition him to safety because his mental is amazing. But Forbes is like, try him in a slot a little bit. I know that's what you got Danny Johnson for, but like, I don't like St. Juice in the slot. Not that I don't think St. Juice can play in the slot. He can play in the slot, but St. Juice is way better on the outside. So what I'm saying is, find a way to get your young guy in the game. Find a way to get him making plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to take one play for him to build that confidence back up. Once he get one chance and one opportunity to make a play, that confidence, that shot right now is going to bounce right back.
And
So, but
no, yeah, sorry to cut you off, but exactly. But the thing is, if he needs to make that play, because the thing with Forbes is we drafted him to make interceptions, and he had a chance to probably get 6 or 7 interceptions this year. He had one, man. He had one, and there were so many others where it's like, bro, you got to come down with that. You got to make that interception because his hands were amazing in college. And of course, the one game they don't play him, they get 3 interceptions. I would say though, the best case scenario is us blowing out the Giants, and in the fourth quarter, maybe you play Forbes a little bit in the slot, see what he does. And if he plays well, you keep him in and build that confidence. Yeah, Brian, all our corners struggled against the Bears. Everyone got cooked. I mean, it was bad with Forbes, but once he got benched, like DJ Moore cooked Kendall Fuller as well. Benjamin St. Juice got cooked as well. So, yeah, it's an interesting situation with Forbes. If you do play him, I would put him in the slot because I think, like you said, St. Juice is better on the outside than he is in the slot. And I think someone said something about Forbes in training camp and like the technique. Yeah, it was DMV Bay. I think Khan was talking about that, where there's like things you could see in training camp and like joint practices that, were not great for Forbes that they didn't, fix. So, yeah, I don't know. It was weird with Forbes too, like in training camp, because he would go out there and he would like dominate a rep against like Jahan or Terry. And then the next play, he would get cooked by like Zion Bowens. Like, it was like, oh, what's happening here? But I don't know. I don't know if Forbes is going to be fine. I hope he does. I hope he is. It's definitely not the end of the road for him. He's going to get more chances because he's a first-round pick. This is similar, in my opinion. I said this a couple weeks ago, and then Ron Rivera brought it up, or someone brought it up, but Jamin Davis had a very, very bad rookie year. He was getting benched. There was games where he's not, barely playing any snaps. Like, he was playing 10, 15, 20% of the snaps. It was never, I don't think, 0%, but there was some bad games there where, I mean, a lot of bad games, but there were some games where he barely played. So a similar situation to Ford, and now Jamin Davis is looking really good. Like, he's looking like where we drafted him almost. He still needs, still could be a little bit better, but I really like the improvement year by year by year with Jamin Davis. I'm hoping the same thing happens with Forbes. Trayvon, I don't know if he got benched in his rookie year. He did get hurt, but he did have a better year in his second year. Gary says, I would play Forbes. This is the game for him to bounce back. He'll be fine. Corner takes time. It does take time. So I'll be fine if they play him. It's just a very interesting situation because they want to win, but at the same time, like, they probably don't think Forbes gives them the best opportunity to win, but it's a very interesting situation. We'll see what Forbes does. If he plays tomorrow, get him some snaps in and see what he can do. Hey, if he can play special teams and gunner, man. But honestly, he'll probably, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to see him taking some big hits there on special teams, but Quan Martin was doing it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Forbes. It's very early on in his career. One guy in the rookie class I would also not mind playing some is what's his name? Ricky Stromberg. Like, Nick Gates, I like the guy, and he's got that dog in him, and he defends his teammates, but he hasn't been that great. I honestly would put in Ricky Stromberg, see what he does. Because, Ricky Stromberg, he started to play a lot better at the end of the year and, or at the end of the offseason and training camp in the preseason. Ricardo says, I'm disappointed. Jerry's corner, are you talking about Jarris was right? We should have taken Christian Gonzalez. That's what I wanted, man. That's what I wanted, but they didn't do it. It is what it is, man. They can't go back in time. They can't go back in time. They've got to develop. They made a bold decision. They drafted Forbes. That's fine, but he's got to ball out, and you got to coach him up because that's also a big thing. Forbes was better in college as a zone corner, and early on, especially when Forbes was playing, they were playing a lot more man than they would normally do. Why are you doing that? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So it's not just Forbes. It's also on Del Rio. Like, the matchups, too. Why the heck is he on A.J. Brown, man? Like, the matchup there, man, is insane. A.J. Brown, 6'4", 200-something pounds. Like, I'm going to look it up, but A.J. Brown's got to be at least 220, right? At least 220, probably more. Let's see. A.J. Brown's 230, and you got a corner that weighs 160, 170. That is on him. It's just ridiculous, man. So it's on both those guys. But let's go into, let's see, we did score predictions. Do some stat predictions as well. I'll go Hal we'll go 1 touchdown, no interceptions, but he does fumble the ball, unfortunately. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and then 240 passing yards.
I'm going to say 2 touchdowns for yet another 300 passing game. I think he's going to light them on fire. And I think I'm praying so hard for a Sam Howell coming out game. He had it somewhat versus the Eagles, but we lost. So I'm hoping that it's going to be that. So I'm going to go ahead and say 2 touchdowns for another 300-yard passing game.
And any interceptions or nah? Clean game?
Nah, no interceptions. Maybe a fumble, whatever, but no picks.
Okay. Let's go Terry. Terry always, I feel like, has big games against the Giants and the Eagles. He has big games against those teams. I will go, let's say, 6 catches for 89 yards. Do I want to give him a touchdown? No touchdown. 6 catches, 89 yards. How about you?
I think that's probably what I was going to say. I was going to say like 86 yards for like 5 catches. Again, similar with Sam Howell. I would love Terry to just have an amazing game, but we know that's not going to happen. So I'm going to say 5 catches for 86 yards, no touchdowns.
I'm muted, yeah. Now let's go to Jahan. I'm praying, man, I'm right here. I'm going out on a limb, saying this is the big week for him. We'll go 5 catches for, let's see, 5 times 15. We'll go 5 catches for 74 yards and a touchdown. So not like a huge game, but his best game by far plus a tutty. So 574 and a touchdown. And yeah, I think, people will be happy with that. I'll be happy with that. He has good games against the Giants. So we'll go with that.
I'm going to go with 3 receptions for 42 yards. Still not a very productive day from Jahan Dotson, but I think he'll eventually get the day that he's looking for. So 3 receptions for 42 yards.
Okay. Gary says Jahan 5 for 76. That is close to what I said. Samuel Curtis is having a good year. I agree. You guys can put your predictions as well. I will go. Let's see. Now we're going. Who else should we do? Let's go Brian Robinson. I'll say 14 carries, because you never know with EB. 14 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown.
I'm gonna say 12. I feel like this is gonna be the weekday. I don't know. I feel like every time he doesn't run the ball a lot, then he follows it up with a heavy running game. So I'm gonna say two. I'm gonna still go with what I was gonna say. 12 carries for like 60 yards, and I think he's gonna have a receiving touchdown. So like I'll say like 3 catches for 22 yards, but like we get down there at the goal line and Sam Howell dumps it down to him for a touchdown. So
Okay. The thing with B Rob, it's like he's either super efficient or super inefficient. Like there's almost no in between. So my prediction is kind of weird where I have him at 4 yards a carry, where usually he's at like 2.83 or like 6. But I'm hoping a big game for him. Gus Buzz says over 100 yards. Tim says B Rob 70 plus yards and 2 touchdowns. I hope. DMV Bay says any predictions on sacks on Sam? I'm gonna say like 5 plus, honestly, just because this Giants defensive line's good, and Wink Martindale, throws a lot of pressures out there. I think that's it on the offensive side. Like, I mean, you can do Logan. I think we'll have a solid day, like 30 plus yards around that. Maybe gets a touchdown. That's kind of my prediction there on Logan. And then Curtis, I think he'll have a normal Curtis day, like 45 yards. Maybe he'll throw in a touchdown in there. Like Curtis hasn't been amazing, but he's been very, very solid every week. He's been our second best receiving option on this team. On defense, let's go to defense. Sacks wise, how many sacks is this defense gonna get?
I say 5.
5? Okay, and who gets those 5?
I'm gonna say Chase Young finally gets home because he gets there, he just doesn't finish. I'm gonna say Chase Young gets one. I'm gonna say Montez Sweat gets one. I'm gonna say Deron Payne gets one. Then I'm gonna say Casey Toohill gets one. So that's 4. And about John Allen. John Allen will get one too. I feel like we still don't got no update on Fedarian Mathis, right?
Yeah, man. Whatever, man. Like it gets me mad.
I didn't like the pick in the moment.
No one liked it, right? Like it's just like we didn't need a D tackle, and we could have drafted him in like the 3rd or 4th round. Let's see. For my sack prediction, I want to say 6, 7, 8 so bad because we should have, I would say, minimum 6 plus sacks against this offensive line. Or it's not all about the sacks. Like if we get 3 sacks, but like we're pressuring them every play and that forces Trod Taylor to dump it off quick, that's different. But if they're dropped, like if we get out, that's why it's important for us to get out, up in front to an early lead, right? Because then they got to drop back, pass a little bit deeper. So they should dominate. I'll go 4 sacks. I'll say Chase Young gets 2. Montez gets – no, you know what? This could be a day where I'm going to say Chase gets 2 and Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen get each a sack. But I could see a game, man, where we get like one sack. Like this could be a crazy game where anywhere from like 1 sack to like 8, 9 sacks for this D line. Like I could see them not showing up at all. I'm hoping they do though. Let's see. That's really it. I'm hoping we get a turnover as well. Interception. Jamin Davis had one last year, first of his career. Benjamin St. Juste had one, first of his career. But shout out Jamin Davis, man. He really balled out yesterday, and he's had a good year. And I'm hoping he continues to ball out and make some of those splash plays. And real cool, we got 81 people in here. I'm sure one of you guys isn't subscribed to me. If you aren't, go ahead and hit that sub button. It's free. Also do the same to Juan. Juan Gotti Talking Sports. We'll put the link in the description. Also, we'll update the title right now. And also, hit that like button, man. Let's get to 50 likes. Let's see. YouTube ad plan, but hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. But yeah, man, this defensive line, Juan, it's got to step up in this game. It just has to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no excuses. If you don't step up in this game, then I mean, it's really gonna be sad. It really is because I mean, like I said, this defense is the The offensive line is in shambles. So you have no reason to like not get at least 5 sacks. And I think 5 sacks is even being generous. Like, you feel me? So I definitely feel you. I don't think there's no excuse for this defensive line. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Gus Bus says, don't think the Giants would trade him, but would you trade B Rob in a third for Saquon? Honestly, nah, just because like you're trading it. I love Saquon, and what's up, Super Chef? Appreciate you pulling up. I like Saquon. He's a good running back, but a few reasons why I don't want him. One, injury prone. Every year, man, he misses games like every single year. Two, you're gonna have him for half the year, and then after that, he's gonna be wanting 13 plus mil. We have a lot of free agents already. I don't think we need to deal with that. Three, running back's not a very valuable position. You can find these guys. A lot of teams can, at least in the later rounds. And B Rob's solid. He's definitely not Saquon, but he's solid. So I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. That's at least me. DMV Base says, y'all forgot Jameson Crowder looking for 2 big punt returns against Giants. I hope, man. I hope. I was watching some highlights the other day of a Giants Commanders game, a Redskins Giants game, like 6-7 years ago. Odell went off in that game. Sua Cravens had a game-winning pick at the end there, where on Eli Manning, and that was a great game. Crowder had a big game as well. It's fun looking back at those and watching the game and seeing those memories come back to. D. Smith says, let's go Washington Commanders. Yes, sir. Gary says, y'all think Khaleke Hudson gets more snaps? I hope so. I hope he gets a few more snaps. I thought he played well in that game. Made some pretty good plays, that 2-point conversion, stop, a couple other good plays. Also had, some not so great plays, but I'd rather have him than David Mayo and, Cody Barton as well, honestly. Maybe you can start to transition Cody out of there, but I don't think they will. But I think we're going to wrap it up here. If you guys want any more questions, if you guys have any more questions or talking points, go ahead and put in the chat. Big game, guys. There's no other way to put it. Must-win game. You win this game, you're 4-3. What's good, Dubs family? You're 4-3. Heading into the Eagles game where you're at home, you can win that game. If you win that game, you're 5-3. You go up and you're playing the Patriots in Foxborough. So I would love to go 3-0 down this stretch. Win 2 out of these 3. Win 2 out of these 3 against the Giants, Eagles, and Patriots, because Eagles obviously is a tough game, but it's winnable. The Patriots, on paper, you're like, man, that's a game we should win, pencil in, but it's the Patriots and it's Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's going to scheme something up to try to fluster Sam Howell, and their defense isn't terrible. So, it's not going to be an easy game, guys. The Patriots game is not going to be easy. So I would say if you can win 2 out of these next 3, you're in a good spot, because what would that put you at? 5-4, and you're in a solid spot. But hey, if you win 3 of those games and you're that would be 6-3, you're in a really, really good spot. And it just shows, man, if you would have won that Bears game, you would be in a much better spot right now. But it is what it is, man. We won a couple close games too. We beat the Cardinals by a few. We barely beat the Broncos. It was bound to happen where, we lose one of those games. But yeah, man, appreciate all y'all for pulling up, and appreciate you, Juan, for coming on. If you have anything to say at the end here.
Yeah, so man, I agree, man. Like you said, we got to find a way, because I think the Eagles are going to win them all. Only reason why I picked on the win is because I think we're going to beat them next week, and I don't think they're going to lose 3 in a row. If they win tomorrow, I'm still going to pick us to win, but I just don't know. I don't think they'll lose 3 in a row. So I think they're going to win them all. Then we're going to beat them at home the following week. So it's a big game. You think about it like this: we go to 4-3, and like I said yesterday on another stream. We're kind of forgetting about the Dallas Cowboys. They're not 4-2, but it's because we're not chasing them. We're trying to chase the Eagles and get to the top of the division. You go 4-3, the Eagles, they win them all, they'll be 6-1. So you are essentially going to be 2 games out of first place. But they win tomorrow. Then then we play with 4-3 versus 6-1. Then we get out of that. Say we win, we're 5-3. They're 6-2 with 1 game out of first place. Or better yet, they lose tomorrow, and then we find a way to beat them. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse. Even though I'm trying to giving us one, but there's no excuse. If they lose tomorrow, they're 5-2 and we're 4-3. You gotta come with your hard head, your lunch pills, whatever that saying is, man, because you got a chance to go with first place. So it's a lot on at stake tomorrow, and it's a big game. So we're gonna be watching it, and hope you guys, check both of us out, man. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti, and as you guys know, we'll be live streaming them also. Hope you guys check that out. But I appreciate you, Pedro, for coming, for having me on tonight. And as always, hail to the Commanders, baby.
Yes, sir. Appreciate everyone for pulling up. Let's get this dub tomorrow. Go to 4-3 and beat those Giants, man. I hate them. Hopefully we get the dub. And yeah, peace. Hail to Commanders.
Peace.